Well, good morning, YouTube family. In case you've been living under a rock for the last 22 years, or maybe you're just getting into motorcycling, I'm going to show you a product today, and it's called No Toil Filter Oil. And what you're looking at here is my previously soiled 350 EXE filters. This is, my last two rides. You can see they're thoroughly soiled. And we are here in my bathroom. I live in an apartment, so I can't use real harsh chemicals to clean anything on my motorcycle. Long story short, I have to use non-toxic because everything goes down my drain. So I am going to try and demonstrate to you how this filter oil works with one hand. Alright, so in my sink here I've got hot water, and I have this No Toil filter cleaner. This is basically like really strong Tide or something like that. I believe back in the day some of my friends actually used Tide, but I'm not endorsing that you do that because this stuff works really good and it comes in a kit, which I'll show you. But anyway, this is manufactured by No Toil for Honda, and it's the same exact stuff. It happens to be what my dealer carries, so I'm using it. So you can see right here, high concentrate, biodegradable, skin safe, solvent free. You can dunk your hands and stuff in this. I mean, it will de-oil your hands too, but no worse than like a Dawn detergent or something like that you would use to clean other things like your dishes. So all we're doing, I don't have very much left in here, but we are pouring the powder into this hot water, and we're gonna oscillate the water a little bit. That was maybe like a quarter cup or something. It's actually pretty strong. And then we're gonna let it dissolve in there. I'm gonna oscillate it off screen. Actually, I'll do it right now just so you can see me put my hand in it. There's a couple little chunks in there. And we just let it dissolve in the water, and you'll feel it. It'll get real soft like laundry detergent. Okay, so that's been dissolving in there for about a minute. Everything's all ready to go. You can see it's starting to clear up a little bit because the powder is dissolving. So we'll take this thoroughly soiled, heavily oiled filter. You can see it stops really well. Nothing got through this filter even close. I mean, this isn't the worst filter in the world, but there's some pretty heavy spots on it, like right over here. You can see how heavy that dirt is. And here it is, just like magic. I have to put them in there upside down first, actually, so that some of the dirt falls off. And we're just gonna soak that thing in there. And you can see the color coming out already. And you just kind of pump it along a little bit. And you can see it coming out of the creases and stuff. Look how dirty that water is getting. See that? Awesome. Now let's give it a couple squeezes here real quick to more violently get some of the dirt out of it. And this filter's probably been washed in this stuff, I don't know, at least a dozen times. I've had this filter the whole time I've owned the bike, which is almost a year. Just like that. And this is actually a factory KTM filter, so that staining, that blue staining you're seeing in it, this is a pre-oiled filter from KTM, so that staining is all from the original oil. We'll see how this other one turns out. It probably won't be as dark. So anyway, I oscillate those a little bit, get them all clean. I'm gonna squeeze this one. I'm trying to do this one-handed, so I'm spilling it on the bathroom floor, which doesn't matter because it's all non-toxic. So we got like magic, except for this one spot where the filter pulls some grass into it that I gotta pick out. Second filter, beautiful. Nothing got through it, not even one speck. Same thing. And this is actually, this water's not really hot. It's just lukewarm. Or it's a little warmer than that, I should say. But my sink cooled it down. So this filter's been sitting in the corner of my house for weeks now, maybe even a month. So it's like a little bit drier, and you can see it's like magic. It's all out of there. And I'll tell you right now, in the bottom of this sink, there is a huge pile of mud. I'll see if I can show you that. So obviously a lot of dirt still went down the drain, but I drained the water pretty slow so that you guys could see how much, you know, nasty it all came out. And filters are clean. So I like to usually wash them twice with the no-toil stuff just to make sure that everything's out. There's no like residue or anything in there. It's a little bit anal of me, but I just use a little bit of water in the sink and kind of do a more diluted solution, and then I rinse them. After I've got them cleaned out the second time, I always like to take my cage and rinse my cage off too, because it'll pull all the stickiness out of the cage and the screen, and it'll prepare that for, you know, you get all the dirt and stuff that you can't really see out of that. So anyway, do that with your cage. So there you have it, 2 amazingly clean filters. This one actually was an aftermarket pre-oiled KTM, or it's not an aftermarket, it's an original equipment one, but it was pre-oiled. And I believe this is actually my stock filter that was in the bike, so it was also pre-oiled KTM. That's why you can see the staining in it. But if you use just the no-toil product, they come out perfectly clean, but that's old blue staining. You can see there's a few little bits of dirt and stuff in there, but once the filter dries, you can just kind of bang on them a little bit when they're dry, and they come out of the foam easier. So I definitely don't even have one speck on these when I put them back in the bike. So my process is that I like to oil the filter from the inside out, and the reason I do that is because it makes sure that you get even spread to the other side. So I oil the inside, and then I squeeze it and oscillate it until it comes through to this side and I can see it. Alright, that's all I got for you at 7 a.m. in my bathroom. So cleaning filters in my sink in my apartment. No-toil. I'm not sponsored, not attached, not affiliated in any way, but you know, 22 years ago when it came out, it was a game changer for me. And if you're like a motocross racer that's watching this video for whatever reason, and you have tons of filters for your bike, this stuff is the ultimate. I used to have basically a dozen filters for my bikes, and I would just ride and ride and ride, and I would put them in a big box, and I would take them downstairs and put them actually in the washing machine with where the clothes go, and you pour like a cup of the filter cleaner in there and just put it on the doobie-doo cycle for in like the old school washers. I don't know if you could do it in these high efficiency ones or not, but I would do like a dozen filters at a time. And funny enough, when I was a teenager, I would set them down there by the washing machine, and my mom was actually doing my filters for me sometimes, because she would just throw them in there like they were clothes. You don't wash them with clothes, obviously, but you put the cleaner in the washing machine, you throw the whole box of filters in there, and just turn it on, and she would set them on my bed or whatever. So this stuff is super awesome. It doesn't make your hands look like they're 200 years old from washing them in gas or whatever, or solvent tanks. The filters last longer. It's a great product. It's a little on the pricey side, it seems at first, but the value that you get in filter durability and the lack of pain in the ass, where you can just wash it in your sink or a little bucket or something and then just throw the water out. You don't have to worry about it being chemicals. It's worth it. I've used tons and tons of it, and they've got a new product out called the Evo oil now that's supposed to be a lot stickier, and I have some of that on order, so I might get back to you guys on how well that stuff works. Anyway, that's all I had for you today. Aloha from Hawaii.